It was a successful off season. It was long, arduous, lots of scenario planning, but excited that we improved the club in many ways. So good to have it over with. I told the guys this morning I hate the off season because there's no baseball and it's dark and cold and long and there's no deadlines. So glad it's behind us and now we're ready to move forward.
What do you think about the team that's been assembled here?
Look, we said at the end of the year we wanted to try and take that next step forward with this group in the postseason, and we obviously have a number of upgrades and additions. So time will tell, but there's a lot of optimism in that room. I can tell you for sure.
What is kind of the theme of the meeting?
I'm glad you asked that. This was our 25th meeting, incredibly, for John and Tom and myself. And it's not recency bias. This was the best one we've ever had. It was remarkable. The stars of the show were Camila Cora, Livy Breslow, and Bryce Fatsi.
Person or
I was hoping you would ask that.
person or on screen or?
On screen. Alex Cora told me last night at dinner it was going to be a show, and it was a show. He absolutely nailed it. Theme was obviously family, and it was just incredible to see players, what their families mean to them. John Carter pulled together an extraordinary message for the players from their own spouses and kids and moms and dads, and it was great. I've never seen tears in a spring training meeting coming out of the eyes of our players, but we got it this year for the first time ever. It was awesome to watch.
You gonna name names on tears?
No naming names, but I just, if you could buy a stock in a family member of the Red Sox, Camila Cora, boy, watch out! Watch what she's gonna do next. Her message was incredible.
You guys have, talked about John's last public comments were in an email like 3 years ago about the team. He said we've never, sold anything, and we pride ourselves on that. Selling the Penguins kind of change a philosophy change for you guys, or just a smart piece of business?
Well, we'll see. It's a transaction that is wholly unrelated to anything we're talking about here today, so not complete. So we'll see where that goes.
What do you see the future of FSG?
I see a future at Fenway Sports Group that hopefully is a continuation of the first 25 years, which has been rooted in the Red Sox at the center of everything we do, Fenway Park at the center of everything we do, being active in the community, being center of everything we do, putting a winning team on the field, winning championships, and really having the next generation of fans experience what this last generation of fans have experienced. So that's the hope and the goal, and we're all working hard towards that.
Sam, I think the last time we talked to you was at Fenway Fest right before Bregman signed with Chicago. I know you said
Yeah.
it was a successful offseason, but at the same time, how do you view just sort of losing him and just some of the other guys that you did pursue and having to pivot so many times this offseason to put together the team that you do have here?
Yeah, we so grateful to Alex Bregman and what he meant to us. But look, in the end, when you have choices the way he did, you work really hard to be in a position to become a free agent and to perform at that level. He chose a different path, and we wish him well, and looking forward to seeing him at the end of the season at Fenway.
The no trade clause thing, is that organizational policy that you don't give out full or partial no trade?
No, look, if Alex Bregman wanted to be here, ultimately he'd be here.
But as an organization, is there a policy to not give out no trade clauses?
We try not to talk about organizational policies and the finer points of negotiations because it just doesn't serve you well if you do that. It's theoretical, right? It's hard to know. Hard to know is there's many different parts of a contract negotiation. We did not come to an agreement, so obviously he's a Chicago Cub, and wish him well until the end of the year.
He did ask for one, though, right?
I don't want to go back and look at finer points of a negotiation. Just want to look forward and think about the group that we have in here now.
What does a successful 2026 season look like? What, you snapped a playoff drought last year.
Yeah.
Didn't stay long. What's the goal for this year? What's an acceptable outcome?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think we said it at the end of the year. Getting back to the postseason was step one, and now we're looking to taking that next step. I think we won 89 games last year. We want to build on that regular season win total, get into the postseason, stay healthy, and take that next step in October. Obviously, winning a World Series is the ultimate goal. But we're also, realistic. It's February, and we want to just make sure everything we're doing now is geared towards playing baseball in October, being healthy. Alex Cora, as he always does, gave an incredible speech. He talked about the season being a marathon. He talked about what it was like in mile 15 in the New York Marathon, and some woman turned around to him and said, "Okay, we're now at the start." Now we're at the start, and we have to go from here. And I think that was very appropriate for today. This is such a marathon. It's such a grind. There's nothing like 162. You guys know that better than anybody. So getting back to the postseason and taking that next step in October is the goal. That should be our goal each and every year.
Did you or John or Tom talk to the group, or just let Alex do his thing?
Yeah, a couple of us said a few words, but today was about, as I said, Camilla, Livy, Bryce, other family members had great messages. They were the star of the show.
Was John one of the ones who said words?
Sorry?
Was John one of the ones who said words?
John was there. He talked to the players at length.
You haven't had a home playoff game in 5 years, right? Is that part of when you talk about next steps? Kind of strange. Haven't had a playoff game at Fenway Park in that long.
Yeah, we had a exciting season last year with Fenway sort of being back night in, night out all summer long, and in September playing meaningful games. But yeah, there's just nothing like October baseball at Fenway Park, and I think a lot of the guys that Brez and the team have brought in are really fired up. I mean, Sonny Gray made it pretty clear, he's here to win a World Series. Wilson Contreras made it pretty clear he wants to win a World Series. So it's exciting time of year.
You say Fenway was back last year. What are ticket sales right now compared to this time last year?
We're so fortunate. I mean, we're up 5% over last year. We've renewed 95% of our season ticket holders. There's lots of different ways to measure fan interest and fan engagement. I think our fans understand that this is going to be a very competitive baseball team, and they bought in last year, and hopefully we can earn their trust and support. And they'll buy in 2027.
Did you guys end up adding more salary and putting your payroll at a number that was higher than you maybe thought coming into the offseason?
Yeah, I always get in trouble for saying we don't want to talk about our payroll because it doesn't really help us competitively. That said, look, there's years we've been over the CBT that have gone very well. There's years where we've been under the CBT that have gone very well, and we've also had failure being over and under the CBT. It's never been a hard line for us. It's always been a guide. Obviously, you can do the math. You know where we are. I think it just shows that John and Linda and Tom and Mike Gordon and the ownership are continuing to put the resources necessary into the Boston Red Sox to be successful. But now we got to go out and do it.
Same question as we asked at Fenway Fest with some more moves being done. How do you look at the reallocation of Rafi's money now?
Well, you've seen it, right? You've seen the reallocation in many, many different ways. All the moves that have been made are a reflection of using resources that we're lucky to have.
What do you think about not really replacing him in the lineup?
Well, you can't replace someone like Rafi. He's just, as an individual, exceptional hitter, and so we got to find other ways.
Sam, you mentioned 25 years. You've been around a long time. How different does this roster feel than the days of Ortiz and Manny and Mookie and even Rafi? Since you
Yeah.
brought him up?
Well, the thing, look, we have to find our identity. You don't have an identity on February 15th. That said, we've clearly focused a lot on starting pitching and bullpen. So anytime we've had success in those 25 years, we've had elite pitching, especially top of the rotation type pitching. So that obviously is something that stands out, at least as we sit here today. But as Brez has said many, many times, you can never have enough, ever. I shudder when you hear people say, "What are you going to do with all these pitchers?" Like, don't say that out loud. So, but that was an area of focus this offseason for sure.
You look though and say, where are the home runs going to come from?
Listen, it's an opportunity for guys to step up and generate offense. We've, I think you know what we're capable of with this outfield, but we're going to have to go out and do that.
How much excitement is there just to have Roman Anthony, 21 years old, just to kind of have a star like that to kind of build around going forward?
Another formula for success here has been combination of young, homegrown talent and then bringing in outside veteran leadership and players. So to have Roman here locked down for a long time is a great thing. I know he's really excited to be healthy. His parents were great participants in today's meeting. Their message was one of gratitude, appreciation for his teammates, and prayers for health, which we all share.
From your seat, how would you describe the labor situation as it sits right now?
I would not talk about the labor situation if I were in my seat ever. That's how I would talk about it. Not productive. We're focused on the 2026 Red Sox, and that'll play itself out in due course.
A lot of baseball fans, I think, worry about next year in like sort of an existential way about the sport they love. Will there be baseball? Will there be a full season? What would you say to people who are nervous 1 year out about that?
Look, I got laid off in 1994 in August from the Yankees. I got let go because of that was a lesson in labor relations. So it's difficult, but our commissioner has a track record of maintaining labor peace, and so we all hope and pray for that. But we're focused on 2026 and this club.
Craig's entering his third year running this team. I know some of the predecessors of recent years have had a 3 or 4 year tenure. How do you evaluate what he's done with this organization so far, and how do you kind of view just his future and maybe how well you do this year hinging on his future?
Look, Brez, I think the results speak for themselves. And what I mean by that is look at the decisions he's made, look at the performance of the team, getting us back to the postseason, making incredibly bold, decisive decisions, having firm conviction in the type of team he wants to build, building a complete roster, focusing on wins and win total, something we talk a lot about, not individual players, but his job is to build a team, and so very, very pleased with Craig and everybody in baseball operations for that matter. It's been a good first couple of years for Brez, and very confident in him and his ability to lead this baseball operation.
Now that you guys are a year removed from signing Bregman and then kind of making some positional changes and then the Rafi trade, how would you kind of evaluate what that situation was like? Is there any lesson or takeaway that you guys had from just how all of that played out?
Yeah, I mean, look, we all have to do what's in the best interest of the organization, right? That includes, on us. We have to make really hard decisions, and that was among the hardest in 25 years here. That was among the hardest, and would we have done things differently leading into it? Absolutely. You question yourself. Where did we make mistakes? What could we have done better? But at the end of the day, we were faced with a decision that was a hard one, and we made it. I'm really proud of everybody who worked together on that. And time will tell. We'll see how the results are. But tough. It was a tough decision.
What are the answers to those questions you ask yourself?
Well, I think communication. You can always do better in communication. All of us. So, and that's two-way communication. It doesn't serve anybody well to hold, well, at least easy for me to say. I don't hold much inside. Talk, share, communicate, especially in a world where we're all, like Dan Shaughnessy right now, staring down at his phone. We're locked in, right? We're locked into these devices. We're reading things. We're believing things on social media that aren't true. They're being generated by bots, people that aren't even real. Like, let's talk to each other. Let's be human and improve our communication. I think that'll serve us all really, really well. Sorry, Dad. Sorry, Dad. Sorry. No, I just easy target. Sorry.
Sam, the human aspect of it, Garrett Whitlock a couple days ago shared when he was leaving Boston, his coffee server said to him, "Hey, you guys had a great year, but you failed. You came up short," something like that. Did you hear that at all?
Every day. And that's what's so great. Like our fans are, if you're out in the world and you're out in Maine or Vermont or Connecticut, Rhode Island, seeing fans or sponsors or alums, our fans love this team, and they deserve nothing short of championship baseball, playing baseball in October. And when we don't do that and going deep in October and ultimately winning a World Series, the standard here now is a championship. I was thinking about the Patriots. I mean, what an amazing season they had. And it's like, we didn't win the Super Bowl, so we failed. So yeah, one hand you fail, but at the same time, what a step forward that organization took. And so it's, the standards here are at the very, very, very high end of the professional sports world. And so we love that environment. We want to be in a place where winning it all is the expectation.
Sam, fans often equate payroll with that effort.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a reasonable and fair
Yeah.
thing for them to do?
Yeah, I mean, you have to invest in your baseball operation in every area: Major League payroll, international facilities. So yeah, I mean, investing dollars is one major piece of showing a willingness to be competitive and to be all in. There are certain economic realities in different markets where you only have a certain amount of revenue that you can generate to then reinvest into the team. But again, if I'm a fan, I don't care about what our limitations may be on our revenues. So that's for us in the front office to figure out. Fans care about who's out there. Are they giving it their all? And are we winning baseball games or losing baseball games? But short answer is yes, that's a fair indication of showing a willingness to be competitive.
So do you understand the frustration with fans seeing the investment, say, in Liverpool, and I know you say they're separate entities, but that side of things where fans are frustrated with maybe all the spending on that side and from their perspective, less spending for Red Sox?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that close to it, but I can tell you Liverpool fans are very frustrated right now. Yeah.
Sam, a couple years ago when you spoke to us on Full Squad Day here, you said, nobody asks us these questions when we're winning. So, like 2 years later, or 3 years later, whatever it is, do you feel like you guys are taking steps to get closer to eliminating all those kind of questions?
We won't eliminate any deserved criticism or questioning until we're back holding that trophy in October. Like that's what it's all about.
I guess what I'm asking is, so do you feel that the offseason moves you made
Oh yeah, there's no ceiling on the 2026 Boston Red Sox. This group, if things come together and we have good health, I think sky's the limit for what we might be able to achieve. But it's February.
Annual question: when you
All-star.
hear when you hear fan criticism or media, narrative criticism, whatever, what are the criticisms or narratives you hate / disagree with most, and what would your rebuttals to those be?
There's only one that for me is like, hurtful, and that's that we might not care or have the passion for winning. That one, because I just know it to be untrue. So that one gets frustrating. There's one way to address that, however. So that's on us.
What's the one way?
Win. Win.
But growing up here as somebody who was such a big Red Sox fan your whole life, and knowing that these people who are saying these things are not in the room with you guys, can you kind of understand why they would think
Yeah.
and say these things to you?
Absolutely. When you're not, getting to that last game in October and winning your last game in October, the frustration sets in. I mean, look, my own son is constantly texting me like, why are we doing this? Why wouldn't we do this? Who's doing this? How are we gonna have more offense from the right-handed side? Who's gonna play second? Who's gonna, so like, of course you understand it. And again, it's just different here. Baseball in Boston is a whole different level, and if you grow up here as a fan, you know exactly what fans are thinking, and you want to give them the best possible outcome every single year. So it's very emotional. It's all rooted in passion. Like today, it's just being here for 25 years and being privileged to be part of the Red Sox organization is something none of us take lightly. In management, whatever position you have in the organization, whatever position you are in ownership, this is a privilege, and we all just really appreciate it. We don't want to waste it. We don't want to waste the opportunity. The late, great Larry Lucchino, a mentor to all of us, would always remind us, like, don't waste this opportunity, Don't waste an opportunity to win in Boston, because there's just nothing like winning in Boston.
Do you feel like you've wasted any opportunities in recent years?
Well, we've had years where we haven't won a World Series. So, yeah, I mean, you look back, and I think the way that we're wired, we probably focus more, even me, even as optimistic as I am, you do focus on things you could have done better to win more baseball games. But, you also have to keep an eye on the future and moving forward.
Does being a lifelong fan make it easier or harder for you to do the job that you do as opposed to someone who would come here from, say, Kansas and
Yeah.
doesn't have those personal connections and memories?
Well, I only know, my own experience, and never in a million years did I think I'd be able to actually work for the Boston Red Sox. I wanted to, but my career took me out to the Bronx and then San Diego, and this was a homecoming, and it's been the thrill of a lifetime. So yeah, I think it probably sometimes clouds your judgment, makes you a little bit more frustrated when things don't go well. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.